Have morning refreshment, afternoon, whenever you wanted to have, you can have a refreshment. Okay, we are giving 2 hours to all of you to finish your essay or painting drawing. Go and see that and how the environmental issues, solar system is working, how we can do the benefit for the society. Go with the one team, every stall, get the information up to 2 o'clock. If you feel thirsty, if you want to eat anything, refreshment is available. Morning to enjoy the fest. Okay. And anything you require assistance, come back. I'll be certificated to stand and we will together. We are having the students, okay, and talk on the video. This video will be published in the Facebook. So millions people will look into the video. I'll talk to you time to time today. Okay, just wait. The photographer is still there, and I want you to give the best. Give the presentation. I really last week schools have given the wonderful. And all those things here. We are showing the showcase in all our screens what we are doing. Okay. You can have a
same for our presentation.
Yeah, correct. Children using this entire garden water from hand wash water. They collect it, they grow that. In MES, other 5 schools, now entire.
شو هذا؟
هو هذا حق الوالد، انا والد البنك. بس يا اخوي انا عندي عندي استفسار.
تصير استخدمها يعني؟
بس يا اخوي لو انتم شو اسمه حد يصلح شو اسمه البنك اللي عند محطة الحين، لا خلي الفرع اللي عندكم على الشارع. اللي
one thing that we'd like to do, so at least we can't say all this hi-fi stuff and everything. It's at it.
Replace a card, the blue one, with like something like this.
these always more or less.
But we can convert this one. We can add to.
Exactly to your existing.
Really? So how would we know if this is ours already?
No, what you need to do, I think you need to speak with the business head. He's not here right now because you just visit branches and you tell you how to link it.
We do that.
Sustainability report.
Yeah. We are planning to move this school project to the Middle East. In the coming years of the Gulf countries, then we look into now, a lot of things have happened. If you look into this, we are conducting the classes in the school itself. And they will ask the questions. When they ask a question and the project before starting will go thoroughly.
The next one being adaptation actions and their consequences on mitigation. A positive impact, watershed planning. That is, we increase the reusage of wastewater. We carry out deep well pumping, and we carry out large-scale desalination. This will have positive impacts on mitigation. However, we use air conditioners every single day, and that is a method of adaptation. But this has a negative impact on mitigation because it is simply increasing the greenhouse gas emissions. Now, Another way to incorporate adaptation along with mitigation is by creating synergies, which basically bring adaptation and mitigation on the same platform and help us fight climate change in a better way. The different ways to synergize are by increasing carbon sequestration and carbon conservation in soil. We can do this by carrying out reforestation and afforestation, then use of bioenergy. That is by increasing the usage of biomass or waste products from farms or any biodegradable waste. Then reduce or change of fertilizers. The fertilizers which we use are biosynthetic, and these have nitrogen dioxide and GHGs. Now, instead of using these fertilizers, we can switch to natural fertilizers, which are going to help us move natural organic fertilizers, which will not only be beneficial for humans, but it will also help us conserve the environment. Then controlled environment for crops. By growing crops in greenhouses, we are controlling the amount of nutrients absorbed by the crops, and also it will be beneficial as in case in some areas the land is degraded or it's not does not contain sufficient nutrients, then this can be carried out in those regions. And last but not the least, using carbon finance. This has been established by the Kyoto Protocol, and all those countries which have a lot of greenhouse gas emissions and carbon dioxide emission have to pay a certain amount, and this money should be used for generating synergies. We have also synergized at our own school at a personal level. Now, what we have done is that the organic waste which is generated at school every single day, we have created a compost pit, and the manure which is formed here is used as manure for our flower beds. Then we recycle used papers and books every year. For example, on last Thursday and Friday, we had a community fair where we sold off all our old textbooks and reference books just for a single real. Then we increase awareness through various environmental projects which are held every year in the month of January. We educate not only our students but also the people to the people through the different ways how they can help conserve the environment. We segregate the waste into different types of dustbins, the two major types being organic and paper and plastic. And we plant trees on every Environment Day, as you can see in the pictures.
After listening to all this, do we still need to wait to take action? Because maybe 21st December won't be the doomsday of the world. But if we do not take action, such a day will surely come true. The signs of changing Earth are evident. The decade 2001 to 2011 was the hottest decade on record. The global sea levels are rising at 4 to 8 inches per decade, and the Arctic sea ice is melting at an alarming rate. But summarizing the two approaches to fight climate change, mitigation and adaptation. Whereas once mitigation deals directly with the causes of climate change, adaptation deals with the consequences of climate change. Mitigation can be done by increasing carbon sinks and reducing emissions, whereas adaptation can be done in two ways: reactive adaptation and anticipatory adaptation. But all these actions need not only be taken at a national, regional or societal level. Each of us has to take action individually. Minimize paper usage, minimize plastic usage, use resources carefully, and switch off lights while leaving a room. Think twice before taking any print. Do you actually require it? Think twice before asking for an unnecessary extra carry bag at a shopping center. Think twice before leaving the tap on while not in use. And think twice before leaving the lights on and exiting a room. Ladies and gentlemen, act consciously, fight climate change. Thank you.
At least I can see in the video. Okay, your record is done the video, but we will take on one more video. Now, before calling TMS, next time when I'm going to meet Mrs. Mo, I have to be very, very careful. Your students having plenty of knowledge and they will ask the question, I have to read a lot of books. Congratulations, DPS students. This is a beautiful presentation. And I promise you, I will invite you to the auditorium. You have to give the same presentation and there will be a lot of question and answers. Mr. Sitharaman, he is a climate expert. He wants to ask 2 or 3 questions. Don't know.
I saw one photo of a glacier retreating, but the location of that glacier is not mentioned. Do you know where it is? Is it Himalayas?
Yeah.
Glaciers are shown to be retreating 1985 and present.
Yeah,
is it in Himalayas?
Yeah.
That Gangotri glacier?
Yes.
You can just write that. The place where it has retreated quite prominently. Next is regarding the worst affected areas by climate change. Europe and Africa are mentioned, but it is Asia is also having a lot of poor countries which are affected by the climate change. Probably you can add Asia into that list.
Yes, sure. So actually there are many, not only Asia, in fact, South American regions are also facing a lot more. There are also many of the affected regions are there. But since Africa was one of the poorest countries in out of all the major countries of the world, so that's
causes for climate change are best because of the countries in the northern hemisphere. So they are mostly located in Europe and North America, whereas the people affected are in southern hemisphere. So where you can just indicate the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere.
Sure. We will add, Mr. Sitharaman, thanks for your questions, which is enriching our knowledge as well. What exactly Mr. Sitharaman is asking, give the names including that one. He is a very expert in the QP, in the climate. He is heading for the department. He is a knowledge for us. Thank you very much. Okay, and have a seat. You are having a question. You are the captain. Later, we are getting later. Question is cancelled. Okay, ask the question.
I want to say something because they were talking about Europe, Africa. We are living in Qatar. We have to take care of the climate of Qatar. And then I will go back to my friend here. This will be spread within the GCC. So this is our mission and your mission in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. DMS, I'll call the names. Please come over here. Sujan Shaji, Aisha Nihala, Nikila Wilson, Arshad, Grishama, and Fawaz. Please come to the center stage. Come here, come here. Come here, come here. You are going to presentation. Come here. That's good. Okay. Give a nice smile on the video. Okay, the maximum your presentation also is reduced, and we will take half an hour. Your teacher has been nice, and we will reduce just by the 4 o'clock you have to go. I don't want to take the time. Today, time is half an hour wasted only because of we are given the grace time, which is not acceptable for us. I was keep on telling, and henceforth we will not do the Mohammed. you have to be strict on the time at 2 o'clock. You are the captain and you have to follow up the rules. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are from DMI school and we are here to present something on climate change. This century, this decade, it's been a very troubling one for mankind. There have been so many disasters, droughts, crop failures, and so much more. Therefore, we stand over here at a crucial pathway, roadways. We have two choices. We go this route, that route. The road we choose will determine what will happen to humanity in the future. Therefore, we believe that we must take a more sustainable road so that we leave something for the future generations because it's their right. For we have not inherited the land from our fathers, but we have borrowed it from our children.
Mother Earth is getting hotter every moment due to human intolerance and negligence. So the students of DMIS have figured out a few ways and solutions which can help to promote a cleaner environment for our future. I now hand over control to Ms. Aisha and Suzanne.
First of all, what is climate? Climate is a state of atmosphere for a long period of time. There are many factors that affect climate all around the world. The different factors are distance from the sea, ocean currents, direction of prevailing winds, relief, proximity to the equator, and human activity. It is mainly attributed to directly or indirectly to the human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere.
Human influence. The factors above affect the climate naturally, but we cannot forget the influence of us, the human beings. Trees are cut down to provide wood for fires. Trees take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. A reduction in trees will therefore have increased the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution started, and it has had a huge effect on climate. The invention of motor engine and the increased burning of fossil fuels have increased since then. And the amount of carbon dioxide has also increased. The number of trees being cut down have also increased, and hence there are lesser trees to convert the carbon dioxide into oxygen. The earth says, human makes me feel warm.
Industries all around the world emit smoke. Deforestation has been on the rise ever since the 19th century Industrial Revolution. The statistics show that 13.9 million square kilometers of forests have been cleared all over the world ever since the advent of the Industrial Revolution. Most of these forests are from North America, Australia, New Zealand, etc.
Shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation, also known as slash and burn agriculture, is one of the major reasons which is causing climate change. It is when farmers clear land by slashing vegetation and burning forests to create clear land for agricultural purposes. This picture shows a piece of land for shifting cultivation. Here's the fallow land which is left to regain fertility. Depletion of natural resources. Depletion of natural resources, especially non-renewable resources like forests, minerals and fossil fuels, are a great concern to the world community. It takes million years to form them, and it has to be used judiciously, keeping in mind their present needs without compromising the needs of the future generation.
Mining activities are another reason for the present climate change. Increasing population is another reason. Deforestation is also a major reason, as stated earlier.
Trees are destroyed for firewood.
There's an increase in the number of vehicles used all over the world, and this causes the air pollution. All of these reasons cause global warming and ozone layer depletion.
The following picture over here, this shows in 1981, this was the ozone layer. As you can see, the blue gets darker and darker. That means the ozone layer is thinning. And who knows, by 2020, the ozone layer will be so thin that most of the UV rays will be able to pass. And whoever is unlucky enough to stand over there will go back home with a case of skin cancer and various other diseases. Ozone layer absorbs ultraviolet rays from the sun. Chlorofluorocarbons are one of the major causes for the depletion of ozone layer. These stay in the environment for a long time, and even if we stop emitting CFCs at this moment, they will still stay in the environment and ozone layer will still get depleted.
Effect of ozone depletion can be seen in the polar region. It has caused permafrost to melt. In 1994, the United Nations General Assembly voted to designate September 16th as World's Ozone Day. Effect of global warming.
What is global warming? It is the increase in the average temperature or the average surface temperature of the earth. It can be somewhat, or maybe 1 or 2 degrees, but this can have a really harmful effect for the environment.
Greenhouse gases. Some of the gases in the atmosphere, such as carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, behave like glass in a greenhouse. These gases are called greenhouse gases. They let light and heat energy pass through the atmosphere, but they trap some of the heat that is radiated back and stop it from leaving the Earth's atmosphere. This keeps our planet comfortable and warm at 15 degrees Celsius. Without greenhouse gases, the temperature of our planet would be around minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is too cold for most life systems. It took more than 20 years to broadly accept that mankind is causing global warming with the emission of greenhouse gases. The drastic increase in the emission of CO2 within the last 30 years caused by burning fossil fuels has been identified as a major reason for the change of temperature in the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases are the substances that exist in the Earth's atmosphere that allow sunlight to reach the planet's surface, but can capture heat reflected back towards space, thereby contributing to a warming of the Earth's atmosphere. Normal levels of these gases are good for the atmosphere.
The absorption of these long-wave radiant energy warms the atmosphere. These GHGs, they act like a mirror and they reflect back some of the heat which would have been lost without these back to the atmosphere. But the reflecting back of this heat energy is also known as the greenhouse effect. This is how global warming works. Solar energy comes in, the land absorbs the energy. Later, the land radiates the energy back into space, but because of carbon dioxide, methane, the heat is trapped in the atmosphere, and over years, the temperature increases by 1, 2, who knows, even 4 degrees, which is harmful for the atmosphere. This can be seen in Qatar. If you leave your car outside over there now and you don't switch on the air conditioning, especially in summer, and you sit in it, you will really understand it's even hotter than the outside temperature. This is one of the greatest examples of greenhouse effect.
Atmospheric levels of greenhouse gases have nearly doubled since large-scale industrialization began around 150 years ago. Meteorological Organization recently reported that global atmospheric concentrations of CO2 reached their highest levels ever recorded in 2005. The links between greenhouse gas levels, human activities such as the combustion of fossil fuels, and global temperature variability are the core elements of the climate change issue. It is very likely that the observed increase in CH4 concentration is predominantly due to agriculture and fossil fuel use. The increase in nitrous oxide concentration is primarily due to agriculture.
This is basically a pie chart which will show the annual greenhouse gas emission. You'll see that methane, the majority of it is because of livestock farming. Carbon dioxide industries, and nitrous oxide, it is agriculture.
What are the consequences of global warming? Firstly, large-scale food and water shortage will have catastrophic effects on wildlife. Secondly, sea levels could rise between 7 and 23 inches by this century's end. This could cause flood in many South Sea islands and swamps, large part of Southeast Asia. Thirdly, glaciers around the world will melt, due to which there will be shortage of food, and these glaciers are sources of water supply to many rivers. Glaciers in the Himalayas are melting. Gangotri Glacier provides water to Ganges all the year around, which in turn helps in the increase in food crops in northern India.
The melting of glaciers can be seen over here. Maybe within the next, this is a melting iceberg, and within the next is a melting polar ice caps.
Warmer waters and more hurricanes.
These are various effects of global warming. Number one is flood. It's common in various parts of the world. The sea level will rise due to melting glaciers. Diseases like malaria, West Nile fever, dengue fever, etc. will spread to a wider area because as the temperature warms, mosquitoes can breed in a larger area, therefore diseases will spread faster. Rainforest will be affected and parts of the rainforest will disappear. All these effects are global in nature as they will affect the entire world community. From USA to Australia, every country in between will be affected.
Hi, and welcome to the Doha Bank Eco School program. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Shanaz and I'm 16 years old. I'm from DPS Modern Indian School and I'm the Director Environment of the school. My hobbies include reading, dancing, painting and a lot of sports as well. I'm part of most of the sports activities in school and I would really love to become a doctor once I grow up. Aiming for that, hopefully I should.
Hey, my name is Pranav. I'm 15 years old. I'm a student at DPS. Some of my hobbies include video gaming. Just video gaming and a little bit of music here and there. What I want to be when I grow up is an engineer. Not the boring kind, but someone who actually enjoys what he does and wish me luck.
Hello guys, my name is Raj and I'm 17 years old. I study in DPS as well. And my hobbies include playing a lot of football and I debate and I'm into debating and football and sports. And when I grow up, I really don't know what I want to become when I grow up, but I think it has to do with aeronautical science, so I hope I get into it.
Can you tell us about your environmental club?
Sure. We have every year in our school we have the elections for the head boy and the head girl, and there are various posts starting from the school captains, and then it comes down to the house captains, and finally you have the directors of the school, where you have director art, dance, music, math, science, lot of clubs. Director debating is Raj, and we have two. Yeah, he is the director debate of the school, and we have two director environments, me and another friend of mine who's back in school right now. And we are in charge of most of the environment activities that take place in school with respect to the environment in general. And from the start of the year, we've been participating in a lot of environment competitions. We had the quiz where our school has won, and we also had, and as far as environment is concerned, we have a lot of activities within the school. We have the inter-class board, bulletin board competitions, spreading awareness among the smaller kids. And we also had the IPPF, that is the International Public Policy Forum, where many of us were selected from grade 11. Many of us were selected, all three of us were part of that as well. And it was an international debate and essay competition on the topic, adaptation is the most urgent response to climate change. And then we also, this as well. So that's what most of us happen. And even on environment days, we have a lot of programs, special assemblies, and all this is basically handled by the activity coordinator and the two environment directors.
And how did you guys hear about the Doha Bank School program?
I actually heard of it through school from our activity coordinator, who's right now here with the presentation.
Who's your activity coordinator?
She's a woman called Mrs. Bera, and
So she's your teacher?
yeah, she's our teacher. And she used to teach us back when we were kids.
So she's a very enthusiastic lady, and she came and she asked us whether we want to be a part of COP18. And since we had already been a part of the IPPF, she considered us to be the best, to be chosen to write the essay and to write, and to talk about environmental change over here in this place, COP18. Yes. So
what is your essay about?
We were told that we had to write an essay which had to deal with environmental change. But we didn't know the topic. So when we came here, we were told the topic, and the topic was, what have you done to protect the environment? What would you do to protect the environment? So each one of us wrote a different essay on that, and it was supposed to be below 500 words. That was the word.
So what did you write?
I said that I would, if I had the power, I would like to initiate a model. And it would be a development and protection model that would be initiated in all schools. And what this model would deal with is it would make a subject called conservation necessary as a subject in all schools. And to pass in this subject, the students would have to do something that is out of the box. So the students would have to plant a tree, and over the year they would have to nurture that tree and take care of that tree. Now, if every student did this and tried to pass in this subject, we are working towards protecting the environment. So that's how I aimed at it, and I said that I would introduce this model. I would like to put forth this model, and that is if I had the power. On an individual level, I could do countless number of things, from turning off the light and conserving my energy to planting more trees on an individual basis. But this was the main idea that I brought forth in my essay.
So in my essay, I just made the assumptions that everyone who's around me would want to do something to help the environment. So what I proposed doing was to form a public welfare group that generally what it does is it increases awareness, it spreads the message about power consumption, then stopping power wastage, and then using non-polluting implements like refrigerators that don't have CFCs, and then also we talked about reducing, reusing and recycling, 3 R's, how they're important. Also about the importance of supporting big corporate agencies in their gestures towards the environment, how everyone can everyone can give in their little bit, so that the environment is a place for us all to live in, and how the earth is ours only for a short time. After that, it's our children who inherit the earth from us. So how it's our duty to protect the earth for them, and generally that's what my essay revolved around.
As Raj said, the broad topic that was given to us was climate change, and until yesterday we didn't know the topic, so I thought that it would be a very hi-fi topic, and until last night, even today morning, I woke up at 4 just to go through all the newspapers, cram up all the things. But finally, after arriving here, the topic was quite simple. It was, as he said, just on how you would, as an individual, protect the environment. My essay began off with the quote, the famous quote that was, we do not inherit the earth from our forefathers, we borrow it from our children. And I started off with how Earth is, the climate change is affecting the Earth, with glaciers melting, sea levels rising, and all the various effects which the Earth is undergoing, and why this is happening. And then, as an individual, what you can do at the least is plant a tree, because that's what trees are known as the carbon sinks, which absorb all the carbon. And you have various methods like switch off your lights when not in use, unnecessary energy wastage, and rainwater harvesting, which can be implemented at the individual level. And paper, as he said, reduce, recycle, lessen your carbon emissions, carpool. And even if you go around Doha now, the Carva buses, I really like the jingle that they have. That is, share the ride, cut the carbon. It sounds really good, and as Pranav said, we didn't know about the topic until today morning, and until yesterday I was all scared that it would be a very hi-fi topic, and went around searching all the newspapers, cramming up stuff. But then the topic that came was quite easy, and I started off with the quote that we do not inherit the earth from our forefathers, we borrow it from our children, and it went off with how the climate change is affecting the earth, glaciers melting, sea levels rising, etc., and how this is taking place. And at the individual level, what we can do is plant a tree at the least, because these are considered to be the carbon sinks which absorb carbon, and also the normal ones that switch off your lights and fans when not in use, reduce carbon emissions, use a carpool. I really like the Carva buses, the jingle that is share the ride, cut the carbon, and I put that in my essay as well. Rainwater harvesting, which can be implemented at the individual level so that water can be minimized, and a lot of other ways as well. And ended off with how you have to cooperate with the starting from the individual level, because you have to be the change you want to see in the world.
As Shana said that she thought that it would be a very hi-fi topic, and she was searching all the newspapers. We're just praying that it wouldn't be a hi-fi topic, and we just our wishes were answered.
Okay, so what do you guys do at home?
At home, my mom, she's very interested in gardening. So we have a backyard where we have quite a lot of plants, and now since the winter has begun, mom's been planting tomatoes, and last year also we have got almost 25 kilos, and we have a vegetable garden where there are compost pits where most of us we put our organic waste there, and also the plastic bottles, the one that we use after drinking water. My brother, he's quite interested into art, so he cuts the top part and uses it as pots for plants. And tissues, we try lessening the usage of tissues, because if you see a tissue box there, all you just do is pick it up and start using it, and that all of us know that one paper costs about 17 bamboo trees makes about 1 ton of paper. So all that is done, and
So at home, me in my apartment, I just have a pot plant with some mint leaves. So I just take care of that, and I just try to cut down on power consumption whenever I can. And when I go to India, I take care of the garden that we have in our townhouse over there, and I just take care of the garden. And at home, all our pencil holders, we don't have any actual pencil holders. We just have reused chip cartons. My mom is into art, so we just enjoy doing that. But yeah, that's just about that sort of thing.
At my home, my parents are very serious about conserving water and not wasting electricity. So turning off the lights before leaving the house, and turning off the taps when you're not using them. That's considered, and you're scolded if you do not do that. So I have a habit of following all that very strictly. Yes, make sure that it's done. Otherwise, we have a backyard and we have planted mango trees and melon trees. So there are mangoes. Well, mangoes haven't grown on it yet, but it's still a small tree.
It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. So that's the efforts I have taken myself to make sure that everything counts. So each tree we plant, each step we take towards conservation, it all counts. Every individual that does it, it comes together to have a huge impact on protecting our environment. So that's that.
What do you guys think about the Doha Bank stand?
Doha Bank stand, when the first place when we came here, we arrived here first, so it was quite impressive because it creates an all green surrounding atmosphere. It reminds you in fact of back in home in India, because you rarely find green spots here in Doha. And I'm from Kerala back in India, so it's all green, it's complete green, and it's a different atmosphere. And always been related to Doha Bank because my dad has accounts, so yeah, it's quite a good setup.
Yeah, basically what she said. Even the flowers look quite nice over there. Yeah, so anyway, it just looks very green and kind of set the tone for my. Yeah, they are. I didn't notice it, but actually it just set the tone for the day over here. It's like it's always nice to be surrounded by green. It's such a pleasant color, and I enjoy it.
Your jackets are always green, or is it just for this?
Oh no, they're always green. Always green.
I find the stand to be very impressive. It's really nice. It's decorated very well, all green. Reduce your carbon footprint, go green. That's a very nice quote. Green banking. It's promoting a lot, and I find this to be one of the best stands in the entire COP18 show that's here. I mean, all the countries have come together. It's really nice and it's really impressive.
Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
You're welcome.